Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and, yeah, often messy relationship between what you think and what you feel.
So let's just jump right in with a question that, let's be honest, every single one of us has probably asked ourselves at some point. It's a totally universal human thing, and the answer, well, it gets to the very core of who we are.
Okay, consider these two stories, both from the real world. In one, a teenager's pride gets hurt, and his reaction is to open fire on a crowd. In the other, on some gloomy evening in New York City, a single bus driver manages to completely transform the tense, heavy vibe on his bus just with his own warmth. So what's the big difference here? It all boils down to the conversation, or lack thereof, happening between our heart and our mind.
You know, for centuries, the popular idea was that the best decisions were purely rational, completely free of all that messy emotion. But as it turns out, modern science tells us that's not just wrong, it's actually dangerously wrong.
The truth is, our emotions are like this ancient evolutionary survival guide. They're literally designed to push us to act in situations that are way too complex and way too high stakes for logic alone to figure out. They are our body's first responders. And if you need proof, just take the incredible case of a patient named Elliot. After surgery damaged the emotional centers of his brain, he completely lost the ability to make even the simplest choices. He could analyze which pen to use for hours, listing pros and cons, but he couldn't feel which one was better. His story proves this amazing truth. Without our feelings, our ability to think and decide just collapses.
Okay, so if our emotions are so crucial for making decisions, why do they sometimes completely take over and make us do things we really regret? Well, to get that, we need to look at the biology of what's called an emotional hijack.
It helps to think of it like this. We basically have two brains operating in our heads. First, you've got the emotional brain. It evolved way back, it's our first responder, super fast, totally impulsive. Then there's the thinking brain, the neocortex. That's the newer model. It's our analyst. It's slower, more deliberate, and way more rational.
And right at the heart of that fast emotional brain is this little almond-shaped part called the amygdala. Just think of it as your brain's security guard, constantly scanning everything you see and hear, and always asking one simple question: is this a threat?
So here's how an emotional hijack goes down. Some trigger, it could be a comment, a look on someone's face, sets off your amygdala's alarm. Boom! Your body is flooded with stress hormones, and you react, completely bypassing that slower, rational brain of yours. It's an ancient survival instinct for sure, but man, it can cause a lot of trouble in our modern world.
So the goal then isn't to get rid of our emotions. We've already seen how vital they are. The real goal is to manage them intelligently. And this brings us to a challenge that was laid out with stunning clarity over 2,000 years ago.
The philosopher Aristotle absolutely nailed the ultimate goal of emotional mastery. See, it's not about not getting angry. It's about being angry in a smart, effective way. This is what's called the Aristotelian challenge.
And the modern term for the skill set you need to meet this challenge? It's emotional intelligence. And let's be clear, this isn't just about being nice. It's about being smart with your feelings and with the feelings of the people around you.
At its heart, emotional intelligence is really built on three key things. First, just knowing what you're actually feeling. That's self-awareness. Second, managing those feelings so they don't hijack you. And third, learning how to use the power of those emotions to drive you toward your goals.
Okay, so that's all the theory. But this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a practical skill. So how can we actually start to reshape our emotional habits and break free from those automatic, hijacked responses?
The first, most powerful, and honestly, most critical step is to just create a moment of pause. We're talking about a fraction of a second between the trigger and your reaction. That single act is often enough to interrupt the whole hijack response and give your slower, thinking brain a chance to finally catch up. And in that little space you've created, you can use an incredibly powerful technique called cognitive reframing. You're not ignoring the feeling, not at all. You're just challenging the thought that's causing it.
You shift your internal story from, say, this person is attacking me, to something more charitable like, maybe they're just having a terrible day. The situation didn't change, but by changing your thought, you change your entire emotional response.
And hey, research also shows that these really simple, practical strategies are super effective for calming down an emotional hijack. Why? Because they literally change your body's chemistry. Going for a walk, exercising, even just taking a few deep breaths. It breaks the cycle of angry thoughts and lowers those stress hormones flooding your system. Now here's the cool part. When you start to get a handle on these skills, the impact goes way beyond just controlling your own anger. It fundamentally transforms how you interact with every single person around you.
Let's circle back to our bus driver in New York. He wasn't just being friendly, he was demonstrating some high-level emotional leadership. He was consciously managing his own positive state, and in doing that, he skillfully managed the emotions of the entire group. He basically spread a virus of good feeling. And this right here reveals a deep truth about leadership. The best leaders don't just give orders, they connect. They can actually sense the unspoken emotional current of a group and guide it. And that builds this incredible foundation of trust and cooperation.
And make no mistake, this isn't some fluffy, feel-good idea. Hard research on top performers in the business world has found that very often, these social and emotional skills are far more important for success than raw intellect or a high IQ. This is exactly why this stuff matters. It's a critical skill for your life and for your work.
So, at the end of the day, managing our emotions isn't about suppression. It's about wisdom. It's about getting our thinking mind and our feeling heart to work in harmony. And when we do that, we don't just avoid disaster, we unlock our full potential. Which kind of leaves us with one final question to think about in our own lives.